Here with the assistant coach, Bill Walker. Coach Walker, first of all, just tell us a little bit about your journey in the coaching and how you got to Texas A&M a few years ago.
My journey is a long one in that it's kind of the family business. My father was an athletic director at a small college. My sister currently is a associate athletic director at Wake Forest. My brother is a retired high school football coach, so it's kind of in the family blood. I've been around a lot of stops, UAB, University of Missouri St. Louis, University of Minnesota, and I was lucky enough to be friends with Mark Turgeon for several years, and when the A&M opportunity happened, I was thrilled and have been thrilled ever since.
Okay. And what was your perception before coming to A&M? What was your perception of the program and also the university?
I'll be honest with you, A&M was one of those jobs that when coaches were out on the road, they'd talk about, why can't Texas A&M get it going? Because you look at the formula of facilities and support, players in the area and the proximity to the campus. A&M seemed to have the ingredients that basketball coaches thought, maybe you could get it going there, along with some other ones. So obviously the Gillespie regime started it, and we've tried to keep it going and take it to a new level.
Okay. And you're kind of talking about perception. It seems like the last week or so we hear about some of the pundits saying, Texas A&M, you don't hear much about them, but you look up and they're winning ball games and they're in the tournament. What is that the type of perception that that you really feed upon, kind of the role of the underdog from a perception standpoint?
Yeah, I think we do have a little bit of a chip on our shoulder as a program and as a team. But we also have to, understand that now we've been ranked 3 or 4 weeks now, and teams are going to start. For instance, this coming week, Oklahoma State's 13-2, and they probably feel like they should be ranked, and we're ranked. So we also have to understand that we're becoming a big game on a lot of team schedules. But I still think we feel like we're out to earn respect, and the Big 12 is so tough. And plus, we've done very well making the NCAA tournament and winning games every year we've been in it. But we also have to make a deep run if we're really going to just grab national attention.
Okay. Well, with the attention and with the ranking, is that something that y'all have had to address with the team and to keep them focused?
To some extent, yeah. We don't talk about it every minute of every day, but we have talked about the fact that really rankings are irrelevant right now. It's nice for people to see it and open up the newspaper and see a numeral by Texas A&M, but we've had enough in our 4 years here of being highly ranked and then going on a bad run as what has happened early in our run here. But the converse was true last year when Derek Rowland got hurt. I think people thought our season was over, and we went the other way. We kept getting better and better, and came out of nowhere. So we've seen both ends of what the rankings can do and how little they really mean.
Okay. In your opinion, what do you think is the biggest surprise? Certainly a lot of people are thinking what has happened so far has been a surprise. In your mind, what has happened so far this season that has kind of allowed the team to be ranked 13th in the nation?
I think the maturation not only of the first year and second year guys, but the guys that have been in the program, the Nathan Walkups, the BJ Holmes, obviously the Chris Middleton maturation has been fun for all of us to see. But we're going to need guys like Ray Turner and Najee Hibbert as the year goes on to keep getting better and keep being consistent, along with Courtney and LeBeau, and I could go up and down the line. But quite honestly, we're not surprised. We went into every game thinking we should win, and the games are going to do nothing but get tougher. But we're going to try to keep that same attitude.
Okay. A lot of talk is on Chris Middleton in his role. What it seems like he's become more confident overall in his game, especially in his ball handling, and
yes.
Seems like he's starting the break and a lot of the transition. Can you just talk about his maturation? And of course, I don't think a lot of people realize he's actually a year younger
Absolutely.
than what he should be for most sophomores.
Chris could be a freshman here at A&M. He came here at 17. I think physical maturation, coupled with, he's always been a smart kid. That was never really a question. I think physical maturation, natural, but also he's worked hard in the weight room. He's worked hard on his game. He's not a guy that just, if I improve, great. If I don't, great. He's gone out and been proactive and, like I said, worked not only on his skill set, but his strength. And with that strength comes increased confidence. He still has to get stronger. I'd say half of his turnovers are due to maybe lack of strength in the gap against tough defenses, and defenses are now really focused on Chris. But Chris is a guy that can really do a lot of things on a basketball floor. He can score from close from medium and from long distance. He can handle the ball. He's becoming a better defender and rebounder. So sky's the limit for Chris.
Okay. Another young player I want to talk about. I know coming into this season, y'all are probably a guard short. Derek Rowland didn't get his
Right.
appeal, and I think that put a lot of pressure on Najee Hibbard. And I know Najee certainly has a lot of talent. It seemed like his freshman year may have been a little overwhelmed at times on the court. Can you just talk about his process? And it certainly seemed like in the Oklahoma game, he had about a 5-minute stretch where he
Right.
basically, he took control of the court.
Yeah, I'd say the fans saw in the Oklahoma game what we've seen in practice a lot, and what gives us hope that Najee has the talent and the innate ability to play like that. The question is, can Najee play like that at a consistent level? Obviously, guys are going to have some good games and some bad games, but the consistent effort in practice will lead to the consistent performance in games, or at least more consistent. And Najee's been doing better in practice. Najee at 6'5", is another guy that's got good size, can make jump shots, has a good body and a good feel for the game. So with increased practice habits, I think we'll see more games like we saw at Oklahoma.
Okay. Talk about the post players a little bit. You got a big group of young posts. I will say at the Oklahoma game, I could tell that the coaching staff was a little bit frustrated with the post defense in the first
Right.
half. Just take us through a little bit of what, in general, from the post position, what you like, defense, offense, and so forth.
I think we have a great collection of post players, from the traditional David LeBeau, Courtney Robertson, Keith Davis, Ray Turner, to the non-traditional, which is Nathan Walkup, that's been playing our 4. I think we have great depth there. We were a little upset at our post defense in terms of not playing early enough post defense. At this level, if you wait to really get in a stance and really try to defend once the guy has the ball, it's too late. Guys are so strong, and they're going to do nothing but get better. We're going to see Wednesday Oklahoma State for the rest of the year. We're going to see some really good post players. So we've been trying to stress that, and we'll keep continuing to work on it in practice. But we do have very good post depth. Obviously, I hope to quit grinding on it. But obviously, if Toby was here, we'd even have better post depth. But they're young, they're athletic, and I wouldn't trade them for anybody.
Okay. Kind of on the flip side, I think at the guard position, especially the point guard, you're a little bit thin, and certainly it seems like the guys are getting a little dinged up here as you get into the real grind of Big 12. Can you talk a little bit about the health of Dash and also BJ?
Well, firstly, Dash is a guy that had a wrist injury, and we think that not only is he getting banged up, the natural wear and tear that the point guards go through, especially a guy like Dash who has the ball in his hands and has to guard the other team's best perimeter player a lot, he's still not 100% back from the wrist injury. And I say that only because if you look at Dash, didn't really play a pickup game for about a 4-month period where guys are honing their skills, improving on things. It takes a while to get the timing back, and I think he'll get there. Last year he had a tremendous second half of the Big 12 season, and it's just a turnover, smart shot selection, and he is getting banged up a little, his knee a little bit at Oklahoma, but we're optimistic. BJ's just a little guy. He's in the best shape of his life. People that kind of remember him when he came to A&M was a little pudgy, if anything, but now he can run all day and he's in great shape, but he's still a small guy that's going to get hit on screens, and when he has to play point 2, it's going to take its toll on him. But BJ knows that there's about two months left in his college career, and he's a guy that Aggie fans know will give it all he's got.
Okay. Just talk a little bit about really preparation here for the next 5 or 6 games. It's getting thrown into the fire. You got Oklahoma State, Missouri, Kansas
Absolutely.
State, Texas. It just kind of goes on and on. How do you prepare the team for this little being a 6-7 game stretch?
It's it's a balance of, we have to maintain our intensity in practice, but we also have to keep fresh because the games are just so taxing on your body. We'll do a lot, and you can see here I've got the Oklahoma State scouts, so we'll pour over every game that they play and try to, you can't show them every single play, but show them the 5 or 6 best, most common sets that Oklahoma State runs. They're going to know about their personnel. They're going to know the strengths and weaknesses of the players as best as we can teach them, and then it's up to them to go out there and implement a game plan. And the Big 12, I don't know what the RPI is going to have us ranked, but in my mind the conference is as good as it was last year, and it was number 1 in the RPI last year. Some teams people thought might be down are not, and the teams that aren't playing as well as they thought, we know the talent's there. So the Big 12 is just an absolute, just a bloodletting twice a week.
Okay, okay. Just want to change gears real quickly. I know that a lot of our fans and folks on our community like recruiting and get involved in recruiting. They're always
Yeah.
looking a year or two out.
Yeah.
One thing I think that our fans aren't as familiar with basketball recruiting is just kind of how that works in terms of identifying prospects, how you go about evaluating and coming to the realization of these are the guys that we need to go after, and also what it takes to close on some of these top rated players.
Well, that's the most closely guarded secret that everyone has, is how they recruit, and their recruiting lists and their names and their contacts and all that. I will say this: in the 20 plus years that I've been at this level, the collegiate level, the recruiting starts early and earlier. It used to be maybe the summer before their senior year you really got serious about it. Both the players that we signed this fall have been committed to us since their sophomore year, or even before, the summer after at worst. So you start early, and you're in the projection business a little bit. This kid's going to grow, this kid's not. But you look for certain things, for certain qualities, and you try to recruit as many people around that kid that has impact on that kid's decision as you can. Sometimes it's always mothers, fathers. Sometimes it's high school coaches. Sometimes it's pastors. There's a different variable for every kid, and we try to do our homework there. The state of Texas is loaded with players. That's our home base. That's always going to be where we get the most players from. The problem is everyone knows Texas is loaded. So not only do you have our in-state schools, you have other schools from the Big 12. You have the Dukes, the Carolinas. Everybody nationwide, it seems like, is recruiting Texas, but that's always going to be Texas A&M's home base. Having said that, from time to time you'll get a Chris Middleton or a David LeBeau or someone from out of state that you can maybe go out, but Texas is going to always be our home base recruiting.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, but tell me a little bit about. I know the NCAA has really changed some of the evaluation periods, and has really, made, especially in the spring and summer, has really squeezed that time. How does that? What kind of challenges does that provide you, and how do you zero in and evaluate the players you need when you have such a small amount of time to actually see them in person?
The NCAA about 3 years ago took away the spring recruiting period in terms of there used to be a huge event in Kingwood that everyone would go to, and Little Rock and Vegas, and there'd be places where teams from Texas would go and play top teams from all over the country. Again, some were in our state, some were out of state, and we could go see them. That's out. So from the time a kid's school academic year ends till July 6th, the only place we can see them is in April at their school. And as most fans know, sometimes pickup games can be a little dicey. You might have kids that are either in spring football or baseball, and you might have a volleyball net up at one end and have to go side. So it's not a great evaluation time period if you haven't already seen the kid play. Furthermore, you're not going to get to see them play the elite level competition until that July period. And July is, for this year at least, there was some talk about really drastically overhauling the July period too. But for this year at least, July is going to remain intact, where you have 2 10-day periods in July where the best players and the best AAU teams face each other, and it's an exciting but a tough time for travel, and for the kids sometimes that are in vans and buses and triple connection Southwest Airlines flights that go all over the country and play each other. But it's a chance to see the guys that we're recruiting play against the best of the best.
I guess you get to see your competitors there as well, and it becomes a situation. So
yeah,
good deal. Real quick, Coach, just kind of wanted to finish this off with the 2 players you have coming in next year. You have Jamal Branch and Jordan Green. And can you talk a little bit about both of those? And I guess really on Jamal, so much is talked about him being the assist man and so forth. But a lot of times I don't think people realize his length and his quickness is going to make him a pretty good defender.
Jamal's a kid we targeted, I think, the first spring we were here when he was in the 9th grade. And he hasn't really been a secret on the recruiting front. He's been highly rated pretty much from that point. But Jamal's a kid that fell in love with Texas A&M on a personal side, and sometimes it clicks. Sometimes for that kid it clicked. He liked everything about the campus, our players, and he's been a guy that we've considered part of our family for a long time. He signed officially in November. his game is, as you mentioned, he's 6'3", 6'4", point guard, long, pass first, traditional point guard. Is going to make everyone better he plays with, we think. Many services have said he's the best defensive point guard in the class of 2011. We agree with that. He's got a chance, because of his length, because of his mentality and his quickness and his attitude, he's got a chance to be a lockdown defender. And so Jamal's a guy that, with BJ leaving and Dash being a senior next year, it's just perfect timing all the way around to bring him into the fold. Jordan Green's a kid that's a left-handed, long. We think he's got another couple inches. He's 6'4"-ish right now, maybe 6'5", but he's got a very long wingspan, and we think he's a very good player right now. He's kind of a 2-3 type player, but we think his best days are ahead of him too, in terms of some kids are done growing by 7th grade, some kids grow in college, and we think Jordan is still one of those kids that's got an inch or two left in him, and a lot of maturation in his game that's already good.
Okay, kind of just you mentioned Jamal being the assist first, but he actually surprised a lot of people. I guess against Yates, one of the best teams in the country, scored 43 points.
Yeah, he can do it when he needs to. That was an open. I wasn't at that game, but we all know from watching those two programs, it's going to be an up and down game. And Jamal's a tremendous finisher into the rim. He can really get fouled and finish in close. His jump shot's getting better. It's something he still needs to work on and knows he needs to work on, but. We're not going to try to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Jamal's a great penetrator and a great passer, and as his jump shot improves, it's going to make him even that much harder to guard and defend.
Okay, and I guess just to finish off the discussion of the future, certainly we've all seen the freshmen playing, but tell us about Daniel Alexander and what he needs to do and what you envision him in the future with the program.
Well, Daniel was a pretty highly sought after kid. He's 6'8", very skilled, very good shooter, very good ball handler. Daniel's biggest problem right now is his weakness, physical weakness that he's taken a stride to get better at, but needs to get better at that area. Right now, we've kind of played him at two positions. We've played him at the 3-some and at the 4-some, and as he evolves and hopefully matures in his college career, he'll probably put on some weight. I don't know that he'll ever be 240, 250. Just doesn't have that kind of frame. But hopefully he can get up in the 225, 230 range maybe. And but again, he's a real weapon because he can shoot it. He's a tremendous kid. Wants to be a good player, and Daniel's a real dangerous guy because not many guys can shoot and are as athletic as he is. Just understanding his role and understanding how to play with the intense defenses on him is going to help him. I might add too, we have Elston Turner sitting out, who's a tremendous talent and was one of Washington's go-to guys in their postseason run last year that we're very excited about.
Okay, and a final question to wrap this up, Coach. A&M now has seen success in basketball for about 5 or 6 years now. One of the few teams that have won a game in the NCAA tournament for 5 straight years.
2. Us in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, us in Pittsburgh. How is that? Are you starting to see the dividends from that on the recruiting trail and the message that you can take to the recruits?
Yeah, I think that really we don't consider anyone off limits. We don't, and people know some of the people we've been involved with, and I think we're going to start landing some of those elite guys. But Coach Turgeon won't compromise some things to sign that type of guy. We're going to bring in character guys, and our guys aren't perfect. We've never said they are, but we're going to bring in guys that try to do things the right way, off the court and on the court. But I think not only has our success helped us in recruiting and will continue to help, I think this facility we're sitting in, if any of the fans haven't had a chance to see it, it's spectacular, second to none. There's really, and we try to sell this with guys, there's no hurdle to you being as good as you can be if you come to Texas A&M. You've got a 24-hour facility to shoot, to lift, to watch film. You got coaches that are willing to work with you and help you, and so Texas A&M is on the way up. It's up, and it's going to keep going up.
Great. Thanks for your time, Coach. Appreciate it, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks.